You got your marathon coming up in what, 4 days?
Yeah, it's on Sunday. So what is that? Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yep, 4 days.
How you feeling?
I don't know. Um, this week was supposed to be okay, so do you remember we talked a little bit before and I said as long as I get to more than 80 runs, I'm gonna be prepared?
Yep.
Yeah. Sunday's gonna be my 80th run. It's exactly the same as
Perfect.
last year. Yeah, well,
Killed it.
yeah, right. But then I feel like I didn't progress. Yeah, we'll see. It's weird. I'm not as hyper focused mentally on it as I was last year. Um, so maybe it's just like the excitement of it, the first time jitters is not there, which is a good thing in a sense. I'm not nervous. I know last year, like a couple days before I started getting sick, and it was at like a phantom sickness. Like the minute the marathon was over, my sore throat went away. Um,
Hmm.
and so I don't have that right now at all. But it almost feels like I'm too laissez-faire about it. It's like, oh yeah, it's just gonna happen. Like I almost forgot. Like I booked my hotel yesterday. Like I haven't like done a lot of prepping of it. I don't even have like the Metro card to get there. Like I haven't done any of that like logistical stuff. Um, but it's the same. I'm staying in the exact same hotel I stayed at last year, so it's all rinse and repeat. So I did. This week has been an easy week. So I ran on Saturday 10 miles. It was my last long run, and I wanted to go like a little bit faster, try to push myself. And I end up running those 10 miles at a 750 pace per mile, which is exactly the same pace I ran the marathon, 750. And I was like, nah, I wanted to run like a 730 or something. But but then I was like, I don't need to get in my head. There's like I know on game day I'm gonna have more energy. I can push myself harder. And that run that I did on Saturday wasn't hard. Like I had way more in the tank. My heart rate was good. But the cool thing was my pace was really good. Every kilometer was like say I was hitting it right on the dot. Um, so I was like overthinking a little bit. So I felt good about that. And then basically Monday I did easy 3 miles. Today I'm gonna do an easy 3 miles. And then um Friday I'll do 3 or 4 miles just to kind of like they call it a shakeout run. Sometimes people do it like the day before or the 2 days. I do mine 2 days before. Um, because Saturday is like the convention where you got to go pick up your stuff and walk around. So I'll get moving. I'll do stretching and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess it's too late now. It's like we'll have to send it no matter what. Um, I think it'll be fun. We got a lot of friends from work, a lot of friends from like previous units that are running. So I'm going to know a lot of people up there. I think it's like 30,000 people are running it. So it's going to be
All
awesome
elbowing
vibes.
each other.
Yeah, and
Gonna
it's
be a ball.
yeah, it's supposed to be perfect weather. Like 65 degrees is the high. Starts at like 50 degrees, so it's like perfect
Good
running
temperature.
weather. Yeah, not supposed to rain. Yeah, I was talking to one of my coworkers. She ran it last year, and I'm faster than her, but I didn't pass her until like mile 9 last year, and I remember seeing her, which means I started way too slow if it took me that long to pass her. But I told her she's not coming to work tomorrow. She's driving up there early. I was like, "Oh, well, if I don't see you beforehand, well, I'll link up, get a photo afterwards or whatever." And she's like, "Unless you see me pass, if you pass me in the race again." I was like, "Hopefully not. Hopefully I'm just in front of you to start. Like we're not messing around this time."
Yeah, that's
Um,
good.
because last time I started out way too slow, but it worked out. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm like I feel underprepared, but like every benchmark run that I've done, like the half marathon where I crushed it, I did that 16-mile run in the mountains. I did well. I did a 19-mile run that was fine. Like all my metrics seem to be working for me. I'm not overcoming like the knee injury like last year. So
So then, in what way do you feel underprepared? Because you've already like it'll be your 80th run.
mhm.
You feel prepared in the sense like you just mentioned, like you trained at higher altitudes, you did pretty well. You just did that last long run where you matched the same pace as you did for your last marathon, right? So what was it like
Mhm.
750 mile
Yep.
pace? So like you can hit that, and you mentioned like, hey, I'm gonna have more energy, I'm gonna be more hyped up. So there's a pretty high probability you'll be able to beat that for
Yeah.
your marathon. So why do you feel underprepared? Is it just because you haven't booked
Yeah.
everything Yeah, or like what's going on as far as that goes?
That's a good question. Um, I don't know, man. It's like it's hard to explain. I think so. I think there's two things. I I think I just haven't been thinking about it as much. I feel like I've been in Groundhog's Day, like just work, get up, lift, run. Like it hasn't been enjoyable. It's been like a chore. And I think it's
Right.
because of like the mental stress I've been on at work. Because last year I didn't work for all of July and half of August. And so like that was half the prep, the marathon prep. So I wasn't working and I was new at my job. And so there was like less pressure on me because I was like new guy trying to figure things out. Now I've been there, and so there's a lot. I have a lot of responsibility and tasks and do outs and all this stuff. Um, so I feel like I'm not able to focus on it. Um, and then I also think I have this pressure on myself that I want to do better than last year. So last year I was just see how I do. But my goal this year is to do better than last year. And even though like when I ran the half marathon like a month ago, I did better, but I didn't go into it saying I'm going to do better. I was like, oh, I'm just going to go run this. I don't really care. Um, so I think because I have that underlying like desire to make sure I run faster, I feel like it's adding like this pressure and unpreparedness. Like, and this is going to go. The runners out there that watch are going to understand this, but like the nuance of it all is like you want to know what your pace is every mile and try to stick to it. Like if anything, you want a negative split. So your first 13 miles, say I want to run an hour and a half, that would be very quick. But like say I want to run that. And then the second half, I would want to run like an hour 27. So I'd want to make it a little bit faster because you save some in the tank. But because of that, you know that you have to run every mile like 6:52, 6:52, 6:52. My problem is I don't know what that is, that number I can hit right now. I know I have to beat a 750 and I want to run like a 740 or better because I ran the half at a 650. So there's like this a minute difference, and I just have no idea where the pace is going to end up. Whereas, like when I talk to real runners, they know exactly what their pace is going to be starting from mile one all the way to mile 26. Whereas I'm like, okay, I'm going to start off easy the first couple of miles. My strategy is the first 3 miles is going to be it's uphill, and I'm going to try to run like a 8:30 pace, whereas last year I ran in the nines, and then I really had to pick it up. So my strategy is if I run 8:30s and I feel comfortable, then I'll just do everything else the same, and it'll be faster. Um, but I just don't have that. Like I don't know if I can hit my consistent splits. And every successful runner basically can run the same miles at the same time from beginning to end. They don't really change.
Do you think
If
that
that makes sense.
do you think that kind of accuracy that like those other runners that you're referring to, like, do you think that comes from experience? Like, are these guys that have done, like, more than 2
Oh
marathons,
yeah,
like, they've got so
yeah.
maybe that's part of it then, is, like,
They just get more
you're
optimal with it. It's kinda like you tracking, I feel like, versus, like, my first
well,
show, yeah.
maybe it's, like, you're putting a lot of pressure on your shoulders, but maybe you don't need to because it's, like, where you are, you've done 1 marathon, this is your 2nd one.
Mhm,
You already do have quite a bit of data. Like, I mean,
mhm.
at least I'm not a marathon prepper or a runner.
Yet.
We know this. Never gonna happen. But I mean, from what you've shared with me, and I guess you could fool me, like you have a pretty good understanding, and like you don't you've got some uncertainty, but
Mhm,
maybe the pressure that you're putting on yourself, and honestly, like, I think pressure is good. Like, at the
yeah,
end of the day, I think it's good that you have pressure on yourself because it's probably gonna push you to do better. But maybe, like, some of the uncertainty that you have is like, well, that's kinda to be expected because 'cause you've done 1 marathon. This is only your 2nd at the end
mhm,
of the day, and if you're thinking about, like, the other really successful marathon runners that have done over 2, maybe they're on, like, 5 and some of them, like,
yeah,
10. It's like, well, they've got all of these. You've done 1 prep, you're at the end of your 2nd prep, but maybe these guys have, like, 10 preps under their
yeah,
belt, and so, like, they've just got that much more data, and it's, like, kind of I don't know, it's more second nature to them just because 'cause they've done it more. So, like, where you are
yeah.
now, again, I'm
No,
an
that's definitely
outsider.
that is definitely
Outsiders
true. That is definitely true. Because when I was talking to my friend about it, and he runs ultras and all this other stuff, he basically said the same thing. He's like, as you run them more, those gaps get closer and closer, so you know. You know what I mean? I think that just makes sense.
it's
Because
like
like my goal
experience.
is like hey, just go faster than 750. Right? It's very like, but he's like, okay, but that goal should be run a 745 or then a 740 or seven, like, you know what I mean? Whereas my goal is just go faster. Um, so,
Yeah. That makes
um,
sense though. It's like you get more of a feel for it, like just the longer you've done it, the more
yeah.
experience you have under your belt.
And some people like run, there's different like different training methods or different runs that you do. Like some people will run just like with their heart rate, like they'll do an easy run and they want to keep their heart rate in a certain window. Other people will want to run those splits, like they'll be looking at the time. I don't really look at splits. I just run and then I look at like my pace as I'm going, but it's hard to say because just sometimes the watch is like goes, oh, now you're running really fast, now you're running really slow. And it's kinda hard when I'm running around, like because I'll with where I have it, it'll have, like, the pace on there and not the distance. Um, I like the pace one better, but I don't know where my distance is at, but on races, it's easier because basically every time I cross one of the miles, I can look at what my pace is and how many miles I'm at. And in the bigger races, they have, like at the 10K, they have the timer, at the halfway, they have a timer, like, so you can kinda get a feel for it, so then if I need to pick it up or not. But some of those runners, man, they're, like, running, like,
They
every, like,
know
30 seconds,
exactly.
they're looking. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
um
That drive me nuts.
yeah, so I don't know, we're just gonna send it,
Sounds like a good
feel
plan to me.
yeah. I mean, I agree too, pressure is good, but then I have to keep reminding myself it's not that big of a deal. Like,
Yeah. Well, that
you
was
know?
what that okay, that w I guess I got 2 questions. So the
Mhm,
first one is just you kind of already alluded to the answer to this already, which is
mhm.
so like what's the goal for the run? And I think you mentioned earlier, it's like, well, I want to do better than I did last time. So
Yeah,
got to beat the 750 pace. You know how well you did. So like so that's the first question. Like what's the goal? And like if there's more of a goal than that, what is it? And then second question is kind of a weird question, but like what happens if you don't what happens if you don't do it?
yeah. So, I think so last year, my goal I had, like, multiple goals with the marathon. It was, like, finish it, right? And then it was, like, okay, better than 4 hours, and then really 3:30 would be, like, awesome. So then I ran at 3:25, so I beat my goal by 5 minutes, and I felt strong. Like, I didn't hit a wall. I started way slow, like, afterwards, I was like, "Man, I could have done better." So this year going in, the baseline goal was, like, just do better than last year. But then I really wanna shoot, like I want a 3:20 would be, like, a happy goal, like, I would improve by 5 minutes. But realistically, if everything goes perfect, I could get, like, below a 3:15 potentially based off on how my half marathon went. Um, so I would say just better than last time. If I don't do better than last time, like, I could even do better by 1 second, and I would say, "Okay, that's good. That's success." Um, if I don't, I will,
Actually,
yep.
before you answer if you don't, why is it important to you that you do better than last time? Why do you care?
Yeah. Think number 1, if you're not improving, then what are we doing? It's like wasting time. Um, but also I think because of where I'm at in my fitness journey, like I'm still have potential, like I'm still peaking. I'm not like a has been at this point, so it's like I should be pushing myself right now. I feel like I have that expectation on myself, but also everyone else, like my friends and stuff, have that expectation of me. Especially because like the more I get in shape, the more it's like an expectation to continue doing well. And like even at work now, everyone thinks I'm the fastest guy. Like we do these races at the end of every month, these 7 mile runs. I win them all the time. I beat everyone in the half marathon. So now there's like this external pressure. Um,
Expectation from everyone
yeah.
else.
Um, but I guess ultimately it doesn't matter. Like it wouldn't mean I'm a failure, but it's like if I'm capable of doing better and I've worked hard at it, then I should try to do better. It's not like I was just trying to compare this with music, like because I still play, but I'm not putting in the effort or the work so therefore I don't I don't deserve those results of being better than I used to be. But this I've put in the work. Um, but maybe that's why I don't feel ready because I don't feel like I've put in as good of work as last time. Like when I look at it, I ran the same amount, but I didn't get hurt this year. Last year I didn't run for like the last 2 weeks. So I actually did less total volume. I did less total miles. That's probably why I didn't get hurt. But what's that fine, like how can I do better if I did less? Is what I'm struggling with. But there is a fine balance. Like you can overtrain. Um, but yeah, I don't know if that answered it. But if I don't do better, I will have to not go back to my job ever. Have to quit my job, and I'm just kidding.
To
Yeah, I'm
move,
pretty.
different
Yeah,
city,
yeah, get
change
out
my
of it.
name.
Yep, change. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like I'll be fine. I think there's also levels of it. Like if I say I run like a 335 or something, 340, like I don't think I'm gonna be like upset. I'll be like shit. You know what I mean? But it's still a really good time. But if something tragic happens in like around mile 20, I just like they call it hitting the wall and something happens and I gotta start walking or whatever, and then I run over like a 4 hour, like I feel like that is gonna be like embarrassing. Like um, or if I have to stop and not finish, I'll be like, oh, I'm such a wuss. Um, but like I don't know. Like if I do everything like my training has told me to do, the body will respond the way you train it to do. Um, because that was like what happened on the half. I started running, and I didn't feel good, but then my I I found the groove. So like I have to just trust the process, like we've talked about in the past, and eat the same thing the night before, eat the same thing the morning of, eat the like wear the same, like just do the same stuff, and everything will work out. Like I know I can run the 20 miles, which means then I can run the 26. Like it'll freaking happen. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah. It's the kind of thing, right, where you basically all you can do is check off the boxes, like
yeah.
follow the plan, whatever it is, and then and you put in as much effort as you can,
Mhm,
and then the
mhm.
cards are gonna fall where they're gonna fall. Like
Yeah.
if let's worst case scenario, like you hit the wall. Is that from like when my understanding of hitting the wall is like when your blood glucose levels reach zero, you have no muscle glycogen and it feels like you're
Yep.
gonna pass over in a ditch. Right,
Yes. So
okay. Yeah,
there's
yeah.
something
So
about like mile 18 to 22, like your body runs out of it. Like you can't, and that's why you have to fuel while you're running.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
It's interesting.
yeah.
But yeah, it's like if you're checking off all the boxes, you're doing everything you should be doing, following the plan, putting in a good amount of effort, then you can't really do anything else. Like
Yeah.
that's everything that's in your control. So maybe that could give you some peace of mind.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, talking about the pressure, while we're talking about it, I got a text from one of my friends, says, "Are you ready for Sunday, bud?" Like, so, like, it's the constant, like,
Yeah, external pressure.
yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah,
feel it. You feel it.
yeah.
But
So, it's good, though. But, yeah, so it'll be fun, though, it'll be
it's good.
exciting. It's good.
It's
Um,
tough. It's
yeah.
tough.
I'm just looking forward to my breakfast before the on Saturday morning.
Little
Going to this
carb
place
load.
that has, like, pancakes that are, like, this
Oof,
freaking big, so good, I'm gonna crush those. It's got some French toast, and then I'm going to eat a huge pizza Saturday, probably afternoon. I won't eat too late because then it's, like, hard to sleep and stuff, and then I'll probably eat a good meal Sunday afterwards. High protein meal because you want a carb load before, you wanna eat high protein afterwards to repair the muscles. Um
makes sense.
and, so that'll be good because then life's about to suck with food after that. So,
Eh,
speaking
depends
of
how you look
food,
at it.
you're in your maintenance, right? How's
I
that?
am.
How's the extra calories? I was gonna say you're looking a little I'm just kidding. No, I'm
Man, I
just
just sucked up. You're
kidding.
10 pounds up already. I really let myself go. Binged every night since then.
Right?
Um, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Well, so I added some calories, not a lot, but, it's a good amount. I'm up about 500 calories from where I left off, but
hey, you know what though?
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You say that's not a lot. That's all people need to do to be in a calorie deficit and lose a pound a week. You
It
know?
is, yeah, if you're starting at your maintenance, drop them by 500.
Yeah.
definitely. So bumped up the calories by 500. And it's interesting. I'm hungry. Like I'm very hungry.
Hmm.
So it's like this is where it's nice. So
Mhm.
here's what I'm observing so far. The meals themselves, so like sitting down and eating, that is a little bit more enjoyable because there's just more food.
Mhm.
So that's nice. The part that's a little bit of a struggle is, like, my appetite's still really high. So even now, like, I'm comparing, like, how did I feel a week ago, right before I added the extra calories? And I remember feeling hungry then, and I feel hungry now. So, like, there doesn't feel like there's a huge
Mm.
difference in appetite. So, I'm wondering if I'm wondering if my appetite's gonna subside a little bit, if it's gonna normalize within the next, I got another 4 weeks doing this, if it's gonna subside at some point, or if it's gonna be kinda something that I'm just gonna have to wrestle with until I get
Mhm.
back into the deficit, and then it gets a little bit more extreme again, which is fine either way. But I am hungry. I feel like, my training sessions are a little improved. So the
Mhm.
last several weeks of the pre-prep fat loss phase, like I could feel my energy levels suffering a little bit. Like I felt heavier in my training sessions, like just like I had to pull myself around the gym sometimes. It was kind of tough to
Yeah.
pick the weights off the dumbbell racks. And so I feel a little bit of improvement there. It's not a night and day difference, but it's like, I'll take every little bit of improvement that I can get. That's for sure.
Mhm.
So that's a little bit better. As far as my weight goes, I'm up about a pound. So, like,
Okay.
that's to be expected. So, the 4 or 500 calories that I've added are pure carbohydrate. So, I just added in rice cakes. And
Nice.
there's actually I've got my own reasoning for that. It's like, well, why wouldn't you just like add more fun stuff, like more
Mhm.
flavor, more, you know, tasty stuff. Why plain rice cakes? Well, the reason that I do that is because I don't want to start introducing a whole bunch of fun flavors that
Mhm.
I get attached to, and it'll make it more difficult when I take the calories away again.
That's yeah, so you're staying
So
in the mindset.
yeah, so it helps keep me in it. And I mean, I use those as a tool, like when I have my high low days, when I have high days, as in my higher calorie days, and that's been one high calorie day per week. Before the maintenance, I took my high calorie day out, but the average is still higher for the
Mhm.
maintenance block. But when I add in calories, I just add in rice cakes. So it's easy to add them, easy to take them away. Also take super convenient, no prep time.
Yeah.
I still enjoy them. Like I like them because I like the texture. And
I
so
still eat rice cakes. I had a rice cake with, cream what's it called? Cottage cheese
cottage
today.
cheese. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate the power of the rice cakes, man. They're
Yeah,
good.
good.
They're good.
Yeah.
There's something about the texture. So yeah, I mean, that's how I've
Yeah.
increased my calories. It's just the rice cakes.
That's cool.
Um, but yeah, I mean, not a
I
lot has changed since adding in
yeah.
the rice cakes, to be honest. And yeah,
It's
so
yeah.
I was gonna say added in. I've gained about a pound.
Mhm.
What I'm going to do from this point is I'm gonna see if my weight settles where it is because it went up and now it's kind of starting to creep down again.
Mhm.
If it starts creeping down, I might actually still be in a deficit, and the reason that I spiked up is because of the glycogen in my muscles.
Yeah.
Like, and noticed a difference visually. Like, I look maybe a little bit leaner because of
Mhm.
my muscle fullness. Is like that's a noticeable difference. So it could be the case, like if my weight starts to creep down again, I might bump my calories up again a tiny bit for the weeks that I have left. That might help regulate my appetite too. But I'm
Yeah.
not going to do anything until I have a little bit more of an
More
understanding, like
data. Yeah.
some more weigh-ins before I just don't want to gain unwanted body fat right now because
Yeah.
basically the way that I'm thinking about it is if I gain a pound of fat, that means I have to do a pound or an extra week of dieting when it actually
Yeah.
sucks more in the prep. So it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you'd rather just keep that progress now and don't worry
yep,
about yeah.
be patient with
Interesting.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I it's been interesting this week because I've been super busy at work and I've actually have not ate a lot. Like there's been 2 days where I didn't even eat lunch. I worked through lunch and then I had like 2 protein bars and that was it. And then I didn't eat till I got home for dinner. And since my wife is out of town, I've literally the last 3 days I've had 2 pieces of toast and 4 eggs and a quesadilla. Just cheese quesadilla. That's it.
Eating
That's
like
all
a
I've had
champion.
every day. And I'm like, I don't even think that's that much calories. When I look it up, I'm like, I'm not tracking anything right now, and I'm just like, yeah, that's not a lot. But the weird thing is, I haven't been hungry at all. So I think being busy is it, but also this week has been less training. And so I'm wondering if maybe that's why like I'm not exerting myself as much. So I don't need as much energy. Like the runs, I'm doing it every other day instead of every day this week on the final push. And my lifts, I didn't really lift today. I just did mobility work. And then I lifted on Monday, Tuesday, but not intense or very heavy, just kind of still went so my body knows I'm doing the same thing I've been doing. Um, didn't lift on Saturday or Sunday. So it's just like it's been a little bit less, which I think is maybe why I'm not, which is kind of interesting. It's just for me, it's more of an interesting thing. Maybe I'm not hungry as much because I'm not using as much energy. Um, but my
Could
weight
be.
has dropped in the last week. So
Yeah, well, it's
we'll
quesadilla,
see.
egg, and toast diet. It's all cheese quesadilla. Losing weight on
Yeah,
that.
just the really low calorie tortilla and just cheese. Like no meat. We don't need no protein, and I'll have a protein shake in the evening after. It's like
Craft
yeah,
singles.
but uh no
No, a little
crab
classier
singles.
than that.
Yeah, a little classier. It's shredded cheese. It's the shredded cheese.
Nice, nice.
Um,
Oh, that's
which is
good.
problematic because then you got to measure it by weight. You don't know how much you're putting on there.
No, it's food scale, man. It's a piece of
I
cake.
know, I
It's a piece of
know.
cheese. Um, yeah, appetite's interesting. I the days where my appetite is the lowest is definitely when I'm like super busy
Mhm.
or super stressed. So if I'm like
Yeah,
super stressed about something, it's like I got to put out fires kind of a stress, like that kind of stress. It's like
yeah.
not thinking about food. I think that's a
Like a defense
that's a
mechanism or
pretty.
something.
I mean, you can look at it from a hormonal standpoint. So, like, if you experience a ton of stress, cortisol spikes up. It's a stress hormone. Cortisol is actually a good thing. Like, it's got a bad
Mhm.
rep. Right? I don't know if you've heard this, but like, there's fitness professionals that will talk about like chronic cortisol secretion and that being a bad thing. Like, it's bad for muscle growth. It's bad for fat loss. It's like this is
Mm.
bad. But when it's secreted at like healthy levels, like when you're legitimately stressed acutely, it's actually helpful. One of the
Uh-huh.
things that happens when it spikes up is it suppresses appetite. So from an evolutionary standpoint, all of a sudden you hear rustling in the bushes, like there's a tiger, like our ancient Homo sapien ancestors, like here's a tiger in the bushes, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Ooh!" And then you got to
Yeah.
run for it. Like cortisol level spikes. You're not thinking about like the sandwich that you were just about to eat. So it's like actually kind of helpful. So it's like in super stressful situations, cortisol levels spike up, and then appetite goes down. So that makes sense, like for me.
Mhm.
And then it also you can actually imagine this like in a training session or even when you're running, maybe I shouldn't talk about running
Mhm.
because I don't know because I don't run. But like for me, like when I'm in the groove, I'm in a like a hard training session. I'm lifting heavy, it's really tough. That's a stressor on the body. Cortisol spikes when in hard training sessions. It should. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but like when you're in the
Mhm.
middle of a hard training session, you shouldn't be hungry.
Oh, I'm never
At least
hungry while I'm working out, training.
yeah,
Never.
that's actually a good indicator that you're
Yeah.
training hard. Sometimes people will be like, "Oh, I'm hungry in my workout." I'm like, "You're not
Oh
training
no.
hard
Last thing I
enough."
want to do is eat.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
But,
Well, what how does that then trigger to because there's also then stressful eating,
yeah, I was gonna
like the downfall of it when you home to stress, you just binge.
yeah. I think that's something else. It's gotta be a different kind of stress.
Mhm.
Maybe it's like so I think that stress would be more of like a depressive kind of a strength
Mm,
or
mhm.
stress. Jeez Louise. Like
Strange
you
stress.
feel like kind of down.
Yeah.
Versus, like, you're, like, up like this, like, "Uh-oh, I gotta, like, run from like a fight or flight
Yeah.
response
Okay, I see
versus,
what you're
like,
saying, yeah.
a downer kind of a stress or a
Mhm.
boredom kind of a stress or a combination of the 2. Like, I think that's
Yeah.
where there's a differentiation, so both
That's
are
true.
types of
One's
stress
maybe more of, like, the
fine.
body responding, the other one's more of, like, a mental kind of, like, approach to it, like, you're beat down, you're sad, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, for me, I find that as far as my appetite goes, I've got a very high food drive. Like whether I'm like in a fat loss phase, maintenance phase, or like I'm lean bulking, I could like always sit down and eat.
Mhm.
The only time that my appetite is down is when I'm like stressed or like so busy that I don't have time to think about food at all. Actually, interestingly, one of the goals that I kind of have for this prep that I'm working on right now, like I've been thinking about it a lot actually the last couple of weeks, is trying to detach myself from that as much as I can. It's kind of an impossible goal at the end of the day
Yeah.
because I'm trying to detach myself from food focus and hunger. The reason it's kind of impossible is because like we have a human body and the human body survives from eating food. So there's always going to be a pull to eat. But like me, I have a high food focus even when like there's enough fat on my body that like, I'd be okay if I didn't eat for a month really.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like I kind of have this like side project goal during
Mhm.
this prep to see if I can kind of level up this kind of self mastery of detaching myself from like the food focus that I usually have to some degree. And so it's like kind of a side project.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly where it's going. I think that like part of it is just, like, embracing the hunger, like, it's just, like,
Mhm.
accepting that it's there, and then trying to, like, when I start to find myself feeling a food focus, starting to think about, like, "Oh, my next meal, the specifics of it, the crunch of my rice cakes," like,
Yeah.
I like, think about that, I don't wanna think about that, so it's, like, trying to train myself to start thinking about something else if I start shifting my thought patterns towards that, so I don't know. We'll see where that
Yeah.
goes, but it's definitely a side project. See if I can kinda grow mentally in that sense.
I like that. Yeah, the mental discipline of it. That's a
Yeah.
project for me, but not nearly as detailed as you. Mine's just gonna be, like, not eat the candy chocolates in my, protein
Well,
shake.
that's the next logical that's a big win in
Yeah,
itself.
it's kinda like
One
the marathon, like, I make small progresses on my journey. That would be a huge win. That's a lot of calories.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's crazy, that's crazy. Um, so speaking of hard training, um, I was training hard last week, and after chest day, I felt some, like, tightness in the shoulder, okay, and I was like, "Ah, no big deal," right? Felt it, didn't think anything of it, okay? Week went on, no big deal. So this Monday, I said I was gonna go light, right? So I was thinking I'm gonna do just like a couple sets of 225, no big deal. And then my friend was talking some smack, and so I had to throw a couple sets of 275. Okay, no big deal, right? And after the bench press, before we went over to incline bench press, which is probably not good for my shoulder either, I was like, yeah, I can feel it. It's still there. It's a little bit more irritating, but no big deal. I went and did skull crushers. Everything was fine. Blood's pumping. Then what I really messed up is when I did the pec flex, pec deck, and
Interesting.
it hurt. I stopped and I dropped. I was trying to do like you know 180 pounds on the machine, and then I was like, I dropped down to like 100. That like how much more. And then the whole day, it like was bothering me. The next day it was bothering me. Um, So of course I've gotten hyper focused on it now. Watched a ton of videos about how to um, rehab shoulder injury. Like if it's like kind of like same thing when I hurt my knees, right? Like okay, you can get ahead of it early. Often do some mobility work, all this other stuff. But I've never. It's kind of funny because I've never been the guy to do like the with the dumbbell,
The rotator cuff stuff?
yeah,
Yeah.
I've never done that stuff. I'm like, I'll just warm up with like a bar or something, or maybe like just some push-ups or something. But yeah, now it's bothering me. So I don't know. And it's like, of course, I didn't get injured in my legs before the marathon, but now my shoulder's injured. And the good thing is, you don't really need your shoulder to run, but it does like you do move a lot. And my shoulders are always sore after the long runs because how I run, I kind of like shrug a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. What have you had shoulder injuries? Give me the scoop. What do I need to do or not do?
Well, let me tell you how many times I've had shoulder injuries, knee injuries, hip injuries, ankle injuries, wrist injuries. I've had every kind of injury you can imagine. I actually
Yeah.
really like rehabbing injuries. Like I think it's like kind of like a puzzle, like
Okay.
finding ways to train around the pain. It
Yeah.
does suck though. Like I can imagine like you'll be on your marathon and like it sucks. Like even though you're not using your shoulder, you're probably feeling it. Even if it's not the
Yeah.
whole time, it's like every once in a while your mind drifts to that feel and you're like, fuck, that sucks.
Yeah. But I was
Right?
thinking though, when it starts to hurt the marathon, maybe my shoulder will hurt more. It take my mind away from the pain of running.
Well, you know what's interesting is sometimes I find that an injury, like a prolonged injury that I have, and it just seems to last for weeks and months, and like I'm rehabbing,
Mhm.
it takes forever to go away. Sometimes it doesn't go away until I get an injury somewhere else. And then all of a sudden it's like,
It's like this placebo. It's like this thought. Yeah.
yeah, well, there's such a thing as psychosomatic injuries, which is where like tissue actually is fully healed, but it's like it is almost like a ghost pain where
Mhm.
tissue's healed, but you still feel pain there. It's like some kind of neurological phenomenon that
Yeah.
is like some kind of a mechanism to make sure that you don't hurt yourself again. I
Yeah.
suspect anyways, but that's a thing. I'm sure I've had that more times than I can count. But anyways, okay. I honestly I love this stuff. I
Okay.
and another side point is again, it sucks every time running into an injury, but I found for myself that I almost learn something every
Oh,
single time. It's
yes.
like I it teaches me how to train better.
Yeah, like, I hurt my knee, and then I learned what I need to do for it. I had a sciatica issue, like, and I learned what I need to do for it, and it makes me think, like, "Gosh, I wish I could just get ahead of this and do all these smart things, like mobility work and, like, these strengthening of these, like, stabilization muscles before I get hurt." Like, why do I gotta wait to get hurt? But, yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I can give you a couple of my thoughts.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one, this is a tough one. This is something this is one of these like, oh well, and hindsight's 2020 kind of a thing, but
Mhm.
still helpful. This is one of these things that I've learned for myself too. It's like, okay, so now one thing that you know is like from what you described is okay, so you started to feel some tightness, you're like, doesn't feel great, but you kept going, and then it's like, "Okay, let's do 275 now." And you're like, okay, let's do it." And then you're like, "Okay, like I think it's still kind of hurting." And then you go to the incline, you're like, Yeah, it's still not great, but I'm going hard." And you're like, but you're feeling it, and then all of a sudden you're in the pec flies, and you're like, "Oh man, it's gone. Okay, we're done here."
The body
Okay,
was telling me.
there's a lesson here. There's a lesson here. Okay, so I think lesson probably is like go back to the 225 bench. You start to feel something. You'll and you listen to that cue right then. Don't lift heavier, but or change something. So
Yeah.
honestly, like I know it's like it's so easy to look back in hindsight and be like, well, yeah, obviously. But it's like, man, I can't tell you how many times I've done that and developed injuries the exact same thing. And sometimes too, it's like, and maybe this was you too, where it's like you could feel it, but you're like, I don't think anything's that wrong. Right. Like it's
Yeah.
like you don't know until it's too late. But
Yeah.
that's where this is actually helpful because it's like, well, now you know that if you feel it
I can
again,
associate that.
now you know where the line is. So sometimes you have to learn from developing the injury. It's
Mhm.
the best way to learn is you got to go through it. You
Yeah.
have to do that.
Uh, yeah, you gotta touch the hot stove so you know that it's hot, you gotta learn
I think so.
hard way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's that. Okay. So we got that out of the way. Um some of the most these are the principles that I revolve my injury rehab around, and I don't think it usually doesn't need to be much more complicated than this.
Mhm.
And that is to so like for you right now, your shoulder hurts, identify each of the movements that cause pain and then
Mhm.
just make sure you don't do them or you change something about them. But at the same time, you still try to train that muscle.
Yeah.
So identify what causes the pain and then just make sure you don't do it. Still train that muscle, but find a different way to train it. So then
Mhm.
the next question is, okay, well, now I got to find a different way to train it. It could be that you can actually do the same kind of movements, like you can
Lighter
still
or
do a
something.
barbell bench press. Yes. But maybe you have to lift 20% lighter, or maybe it's significantly lighter. Maybe you have to like take off 50 to 60% off, like lift half the amount of weight, but do sets of 30 slow.
Yeah.
But that's where like I find that like you learn things. So like for me, I've had to do that before with the bench press, for example, where I've been forced to do like go from like doing my 5 to 10 RMs regularly to forcing me to have to do something like lift significant my 30% rep maxes and do sets of 30. I've learned from that. It cleaned up my technique. I get the wickedest pumps I'd ever experienced in my life, soreness like I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
And I didn't lose any muscle throughout the process, and it ended up healing things. Some injuries are worse than others, like they just take longer to heal, and like,
Well, I
it
also
sucks,
think
but
I think I would know if it was like a like it's not super serious because I feel like I would know. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it's just one of those things. But I was also thinking too, because I was thinking about the same thing. Like, maybe this is actually a good time because I was like kind of taking this week off from training the rest of this week. I'm not really going to lift much next week as I'm recovering from the marathon. Then I was like, oh, I wanted to go lighter weight anyways and actually work on my technique. And I was like,
it's a blessing in disguise. It's
yeah,
like,
perfect.
yeah,
Now we have
exactly.
to.
Now I got no choice. I got to follow
Yeah,
through with the plan.
it's not because I'm weak. It's because I'm working on the technique.
I did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they do suck though. It's like, it's
Yeah. I think again, I've been very blessed. I haven't had like real injuries. And I like, it's one of those things where it's like, where you can just tell it's not like really stopping anything. It's just like, it's nagging, but not
oh
bad. Like,
yeah.
same thing when I had like my knee issues. Like, I could walk fine. But when the minute I started running 2 miles in, I had to sigh. It was so bad. It hurt. But then I started walking, it's fine again. Right. Like, um, so it's not like so bad right now where it's going to prevent me from doing anything. It's just it's weird, right? Little things will bother you. Like if I'm sleeping, when I lay on that shoulder, I'm just been laying on my back, right? Or I'll go to reach for something like a certain angle, like, oh, right. Like, oh, so you're like overly cautious. You're overly like moving like a robot, even though like this is fine. But when I go like this, oh yeah, like, so when
Yeah.
I'm grabbing something, I'm like, I don't know. I know the body,
Jomo
like,
Arigato, Mr.
yeah, yeah.
Roboto. Yeah.
So we'll see.
Honestly, I've always got something that I'm like, like my left elbow. Like usually have to be careful with it because if I do a bicep curl a specific way, like it'll be inflamed for 3 days, and then every time I pick something up and then in a specific
Yeah,
way, like I'll
that's
feel it. So
yeah.
it's like, and I also like I just am like I'm pretty much fully recovered. I had this pec injury. It's actually one that I've had in the past too. It's like this horrible nostalgia with this specific pain. It's actually the same pain I had for my first bodybuilding prep, which hindered me through that whole prep. It was at the time because I was less experienced. It was like really, really mentally bugging me. This
Mm-hmm.
time it wasn't as big of a deal, but it did kind of like that nostalgia kind of set in. Lasted for probably 6 weeks, and I had to take out my slight incline dumbbell bench press. I had to take out my deficit push-ups,
Mm.
and I'd just been doing flat dumbbell bench press, and I had to initially lower the load quite a bit and move even slower. I already moved pretty slow, but I had to move even slower, and I had to do something weird, which is tuck my rib cage in. So I had to like
Okay.
almost like crunch my abs a little bit rather than externally rotating and arching my back, like pulling my shoulder blades together, which
Yeah.
I would by default do before that. And what's funny about that is like it sucked. Like I didn't like training like that. But the difference of angle actually kind of like sucking in
Works
my
on the
rib
different.
cage. Man, I'm feeling it in my chest in a different way. I actually and I wouldn't have built a whole bunch of muscle in my deficit because this is all going on through my fat loss phase.
Mhm.
Um, But it really felt like it hit my pecs in a way that, like, I hadn't been hitting them before in a really, really good way, and I've actually kind of since it's healed, I'm kinda trying to carry that on because it's, you know,
Yeah,
something that I have not been doing, but that's the last one that I kind of recovered from, but there's always something. I've always
yeah.
got something. It's like, I don't know, and they're never fun, but it's like each time they happen, I'm like, "Yeah,
You can learn from it.
what's the
Yeah, yeah.
challenge? This is another
Overcome it.
challenge. Now
That
I gotta
yeah,
figure out how to train different this time."
well, it's funny you were talking about, like, how you wanna, like, master, like, the mental side of the food hunger and stuff like that, like, I do think that would be a good goal for me to, like, legit work on, like, mobility and flexibility and make that part of my daily routine. Like, I just don't think I'm as flexible or take care of all those stabilization muscles and, like, especially if, like, don't know what my goals are gonna be in the future, but if I wanna do, like, some high rocks kinda competitions and stuff like that eventually, like, those high, um, impact and explosive sports, like, you have to have those, like, things to
Yeah.
get injured, so,
Can I challenge you on that? Your thought on that?
okay.
Okay. So work on your stabilizers. So like are you worried about your stabilizers in your shoulder, for example? Like is that something that you're
No,
thinking
I
about?
just think the last, like, the shoulder injury and the 2 knee injuries that I've had on both knees, it's like,
Right.
every time I've done the physical therapy, it's always working these, like, weird, like, exercises, muscles that I don't ever actually work, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. So I heard something from this was like in 2017 or 2018 from Menno Henselman's is when I took his course.
Mhm.
He coached me through my first bodybuilding competition too.
Okay, nice.
But this is something that I learned from his when I took his course. And he was talking about this in particular, like rehabbing injuries and um, trying to rehab by focusing on these like super isolated physical therapy prescribed exercises, like these just micro movements basically to
Mhm,
try to bring up stabilizing muscles.
mhm,
And he used examples. He actually used a case study example, someone that he coached that had this experience, which was so like there's this power lifter. This guy
mhm.
is lifting, this guy is lifting hundreds and hundreds of pounds, like 700-800 pound deadlifter. Like the guy's really strong, not
Yeah,
just the big meaty muscles, but like you got to have strong stabilizers to do that.
yeah.
Right. So he kind of threw out his back a little bit. He went to a physical therapist, and the physical therapist said, "Oh, it's the reason that like that happened is because you have like weak chest or something like that." It was like
Mhm.
one of these like, "Oh, that
Some
went down,
random
so that
little
must mean
thing.
this
Yeah.
this that means that this stabilizer is weak."
Mm,
Right?
mhm.
If you take a step back and look at that, it's like that actually is asinine. That guy has stronger stabilizers as a power lifter with all the lifts that he does than 99.9999% of the rest of the population. So like
Mhm.
Menno's critique of this is that like that's a totally off, a totally wrong
Mm.
um diagnosis. Like it's not a from weak stabilizers. It's like a freak. It happened because you lift super heavy and something went
Yeah,
out. That's
like,
it. It's not because
stuff just happens.
same thing. Same thing. So like even challenging the running thing, right? So like
Mhm,
someone diagnosed that you had a weak stabilizer, like weak glutes, for example.
mhm.
Like sometimes they'll say like it's the reason your knees hurt is because you have weak glutes. Maybe, or
Yeah.
maybe it's not that complicated at all. Maybe it's just because you ran into a
Overusing it.
repetitive use
Yeah.
injury. So you think about running, running itself is actually like something like statistically 20 times more
For the most, like,
injurious.
injuries. Yeah,
Yeah,
all the time.
way more injurious than strength training. And the reason why is because it's so repetitive and it's so explosive.
That's a
So
good
it
point,
may
yeah.
be, right? So like this happens regularly as runners run into knee problems or ankle problems and it's blamed on like weak glutes or like weak adductors or something like that. It's
Mhm.
not not because the glutes or adductors are weak. It's because it's simply a repetitive use injury from the explosiveness and the repetition of so
Yeah.
many steps. It happens from wear and tear, maybe stress and like diet, something like that. But it's most
Yeah.
likely just that simple, not exactly a stabilizer.
That's an
Again,
interesting
this
point
is
though. Yeah. Well, like, I think
it.
there's gotta be
Go ahead.
some truth to it because I know, at least for the running, everything when you read about it, they say the reason most of the time runners get injured with those things is because they increase their volume too quickly, right? So it's like your body is not used to this, and then you go from running 10 miles a week to 50 miles a week. You don't
Can
like
I tell
go
you?
up.
I'll tell
Yeah.
you another story. So I'll tell you a personal story. When I was in I've told you part of this before, but in my
Mhm.
3rd year of university, I was training, like, working out like a maniac, like, since I was 12 years old, and at this time, I was still working out like a maniac. Wasn't the best at it, but I was doing it, and my music teacher at the time, my one professor, he said, "Hey,
Mhm.
you should stop lifting weights because it's negatively impacting your playing the trombone."
Yeah.
That's a story for another time, but anyways, I stopped working out because I was like, "Shoot, I guess I gotta stop because, like, the trombone is, like, the most important thing right now." So I stopped, I took his advice, but I was like, "I'm not gonna stop exercising." So the next day, I went for an I don't know how far it was, but for a 90-minute run,
The last
right?
run you went on.
Uh, no, I kept trying. I'll give myself credit for trying after that, but I'll tell you, my both my ankles were screwed after, both my knees were screwed, and
Mhm.
here's an interesting thing. I was squatting a lot. I was a three-plate squatter then. Like, I had
Yeah.
strong glutes, strong quads, I was strong hamstring, strong everything else. Like, there was no weak stabilizers in there. It was
Yeah.
to your point,
Mhm.
it was sheer volume of that sp those specific types of reps, which is the
Yeah.
continuous explosive steps that you take, strides that you take when you run.
Mhm.
So I don't know, case
Makes sense.
study. It's a case
Yeah.
study and like one person, but that kind of supports what you
Well,
just mentioned.
and maybe that's interesting because, like, I've had the knee issues with the running because I go over these marathon preps where I just start running more, and it catches up on me. But maybe that's why it's the shoulders frustrate me because I don't think I've changed anything. So where did that come from? You know what I mean? That's like the yeah, but I do like still lift a lot. So maybe just one day didn't have the best technique, maybe went a little heavier, like who know, like just something.
And honestly, like wear and tear is a thing,
Mhm.
right? Like you can think about everything that you're doing right now. You're prepping for a marathon. You're training like, you know, very consistently and very hard,
Mhm.
very regularly. Like, the body
Like
has
not getting sleep.
finite resources.
Like
Yeah, sleep's not fantastic. Running on
yeah.
running on some hard-boiled eggs, toast, and some cheese quesadilla,
Yes.
right? Right? And it's like, well, something's gonna give eventually.
You're not giving me sleep, you're not giving me protein. Like, what are we doing?
I don't know if it's weak stabilizers or if there's something else in there, but, um,
True.
I know it would like, we weren't thinking about it being weak stabilizers, but
Well, what are you
the point
thinking?
is, like
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead,
go
sorry.
ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, what's your thoughts then? Maybe not stabilizers, but what's your thoughts then about like focusing then on like more like flexibility and mobility? Like, is there advantages to that? Like,
I'll try to answer it really broadly, and then maybe I'll
mhm,
try to bring that to you. So really broadly, I think that 80 to 90% of people don't need to spend any time on that,
mhm.
assuming they just do their strength training properly. So, for
Yeah.
example, you squat with a full range of motion.
Mhm,
There's no better way to improve your hip and knee mobility than that because you're moving through your body's full capacity to move. You're
mhm.
moving your hip pretty much as you can in a practical sense. You're moving your femur across the hip joint as much as you can. You're bending from the knee as much as you can. And you're doing it under a load, like under weight. So you're training the brain to move in your body's largest range of motion under load. It's like the best way to train your mobility and flexibility. That's assuming that you're training with a full range of motion. Same thing with like a chest press. If you're moving deep with a challenging amount of weight, bringing the dumbbell as low as possible, it's like tough to beat any shoulder mobility exercise or shoulder flexibility exercise
Yeah.
when you're doing that. Same thing with anything else, you name it. So that's the argument. That's also something that I actually learned from Menno
Mhm.
Henselmans, is based off of his accumulated research that, I mean, he didn't do all the research, but based off the conclusions that he came uh, came to from the research that he'd been through, collected.
Mhm.
The best mobility and flexibility work that you can do is just strength train properly.
Yeah, I think the second word there is key, properly. And I'm
Yeah.
assuming through like progression, because if you go too heavy too fast, you never develop that skill to get full depth. You know what I mean? And the strength to do it, because like I mean, I think my squats suck, but I think like when you watch other people and they
Your
don't even do
squats don't
like,
suck.
dude, I will look when I watch some people and I'm like, man, they go ass to grass. I like what? Like I'm talking. I don't think I could go that low, even if I wanted to. You know?
Well,
Um,
that could be the case, but that would
yeah.
mean that like maybe you're not like structurally, the way that your full range of motion looks is legitimately not the same as someone else's, but it's still full range of motion for the way that your bones fit and your
Mm,
joints. It could be the case, so you're still maximizing your range of motion. Could,
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. True. True. Yeah, that's a good point. It's just like it's so funny because my friend Kevin, I feel like he can squat like better than me. When I say better, I mean deeper because he can't squat more than me. But just like it seems more natural to him. Like it comes more easy to him. And then one day we were doing some stretching and some mobility work, and I I was doing like the frog stretch or something, and like I cannot get like all the way down, right? Like I can't, and he like easily could, and like lean all the way back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On like on his back, I'm like,
I can't do it either.
I looked at him like, what is wrong with you? You know what I mean? Like what?
Yeah.
Um, and so maybe it's just maybe it doesn't need to be like a hyper focus thing. If you're doing a specific exercise or a specific sport where you need something, maybe you would work on it. But yeah.
I think the people that would benefit from it are people that like have a very specific reason for it. Like maybe some elderly people would benefit from doing it in isolation if they're not able to move in other ways, or if it helps them. There could be some instances where it's helpful, where like maybe you do like a little bit of mobility work before your working sets, like as
Mhm.
a like part of a static stretching routine or something like that. So not where you're like about to do a bench press and you're like grabbing the wall like this and you're like, yeah, I'm feeling stretched, and you're just like holding that for a while, like doing
Yeah.
some kind of like, I don't know, s- a static stretch, like some
Yeah.
like just warm up reps. That counts
Yep.
as static stretching. That is static stretching, but that could be helpful. Having some kind of like a
Just a
mobility warm
routine.
up
Yeah.
routine, like maybe that could be,
It
or
also
a
might help the
rehab
mind
thing.
too. I think we
Yeah,
underestimate like routines and warm ups are really good, like just for the mind. Like you're preparing yourself mentally for the hard workout or the hard run or the hard thing. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
It's like a practice run.
Yeah, and but it's weird though because like the old days of like stretching like cold, I think everyone has kind of come up with that like not to do those things anymore, especially like when after running or something. Like I never stretch now before running. If I'm going on a run that doesn't matter, I'll just start slow and just like slowly warm up into it, and then I'll stretch at the end of it. But if I'm gonna go for a race or something, I'll kind of jog around beforehand. I'll do some like just different exercises. Um, but I don't that way I can, come out of the gate at the tempo I want to. But like I think gone are the days of just like static, slow stretching, like you're talking about, like your hand on the wall.
Yeah,
'Cause
there.
I always do like warm up, especially with
Yeah,
heavy compound loads. I'm always doing like just a bar or just air squats to warm up or something like. And I always walk or go on the bike even like 5 minutes before just to warm the body up. Um,
Yeah.
so
I think that's I mean, I think that's
what's
the
what's your thoughts on? I've never done this, and I hate watching people do it. What's your thoughts on the people that hold the 5 pound dumbbells or the plates and they go like this, or they put their hand on their knee? What are your thoughts? Do you think they overread into that?
yeah, I think there's better ways to spend your time.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. You could
Right? I
probably,
mean,
if you felt like you had to warm up, I'd rather see someone do some push ups or something. At least you're getting like more of a
yeah.
workout.
Well, that would be what I would do personally is like oftentimes people will do that like before a push day, like before
Yeah.
their dumbbell or barbell bench presses. I would just do warm up sets for the dumbbell or the barbell bench presses or warm up sets for the overhead presses. I think like if I just I don't think these are just the best way to spend your time. That's all.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
better ways to spend your time.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. So what I'm hearing is don't do mobility. Just go send it full. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just no,
No warm up sets, just
no.
pedal to the metal.
Look,
You
all
know,
warm up sets are doing is taking away max reps for me later.
yeah, that's it. You know what's funny is you're talking about your friend Kevin and him having like his flexibility being a little bit better than yours.
Mhm.
You know who's better, who can squat deeper than I can?
Hmm.
So like I don't even have the best squat depth in the world. Like pretty good, but there's
Yeah.
people that definitely most of the people in my family can. So like I can
Really?
remember, yeah. So like there was a time where I did this little how to work out class in when I first moved back here from Toronto in like
Nice.
2020. This was right before the pandemic hit. And my cousin was actually he came to support me and signed up for this class. So
Oh,
he was
cool.
there and he can squat deeper than me. He's like one of these people that can squat with the backs of his thighs completely going flush
Mhm.
across his calves right down to his ankles. Like it's like what the heck?
Yeah, you're like, "What?"
Other people in my family, my mother. So
Mhm.
she probably doesn't want me to
Your
say what her
older
age
mother
is,
than older than
but
you mother.
she is older than me. Yes, but so, like, she works out 2 days a week, kudos to her. 2 days a
Mhm.
week, strength training, good hard sessions. She can squat deeper than I
Yeah.
can, and she's, I mean, she started strength training too when she was, like, late 50s,
Oh,
which is
nice.
crazy. But anyways, mobility's way
Cool.
better than me at squatting.
Mhm.
One other person, my brother, I don't
Mm.
tell him this, but
Yeah, well,
if
now
he
he's gonna
listens to
know.
this if he listens
Does
to
he
this,
squat
then
with
he'll
more
know.
weight as well?
No. No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
But, he's another one of those, like, just he's interesting because his femurs are quite long, like, proportionally. He and I are built very different. But it's interesting because a lot of people will say, like, "Oh, I got long legs, long
Mhm.
femurs, long shins, like, I'm a tall person. Proportionally, like, this is the way I'm built, like, I can't go below parallel."
Yeah.
Him, he squats deeper than me. Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
he kind of is busts that myth, at least
Yep.
his, body dimensions, like, with his
Yeah.
body dimensions, but interesting, so
Yeah, it's just very individual, I guess. Different body types can do different things. That's
you
cool.
betcha,
Yeah,
betcha.
I don't think anyone in my family squats.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, my dad did go to physical therapy the other day for the first time. First, he went to
Oh,
the
yeah?
doctor, and I think they recommended him to go to physical therapy, and I'm like, "Thank gosh." He has not been to the doctor in, like, 20 years, and he's been limping on his knee. He had, like, a tree fall on him, broke his shoulder.
Oh,
Um
dude.
Oh, yeah, and, like, they couldn't even, like, fix it. It's basically like he has, like, this like, it's healed, like,
Oh, man.
differently and stuff like now. It's just like he's falling apart. He just doesn't do anything, and so he went, and I think they have him just doing some very basic leg exercises kinda thing. It's probably stuff that if y like you're saying, if he was going to the gym normally, then he would already know these things. But he's like the old school guy where he thinks, like, labor is working out. Like, just because you do, like, hard labor throughout the day is not the same as, like, exercising. Um,
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's like, number one, you don't like focus on developing those muscles of certain strengths, of certain movements with the flexibility, mobility, and all that stuff. But I also think they overthink how much they're actually exerting. Like some days, yeah, maybe. Like if you're out cutting trees and hauling logs or whatever you're doing, you might. And then the other 6 hours of that day you're doing that, you're standing inside or something. And like it's hard to
It's
really track it.
yeah, it's well, you think about the differences. I think like I'm thinking of like a construction laborer, someone that is
Mhm.
like carrying around 2x4s all day, like they're on their feet, they're lifting heavy stuff, they're moving tools around, and like that is tough. That's really, really tough
Mhm.
physical work. But the difference is they're not intentionally moving in specific patterns where they're trying to bring their bone across their joint through a full range of motion. So it's like they're
Yeah.
not it's different in that sense. It's less focus. It's they're not
Yeah.
focused on building muscle and getting strong. They're trying to get the job done. But interesting point there. My uncle's a construction contractor,
Mhm.
and I remember I must have been like 10 or 11 when I think it was a herniated disc. It was bad. Like he was basically bedside, like on the couch. He
Oh,
blew out a
shoot.
disc on his back.
Yeah.
He was basically out for months. And I remember that like going and visiting my aunt and uncle and like seeing him on the couch, and like it wasn't a good time.
Mhm.
Um, but now he I mean, he doesn't have the same kind of physical demands in his job now. He's a contractor, so he's still on his feet a lot, but he's not like doing as much labor. But he works out regularly. He makes a point of training like 2 or 3 days a week to make sure that that doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring that up is because he was doing very hard labor at that point, and that injury happened while he was working. He was picking
Mm.
something up, and like there goes the disc.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
guess
Have you seen those memes of like, oh, doing things around the house or the construction projects like with like optimal lifting technique, or they treat it like it's the gym? It's
yeah,
like
yeah, like
squatting perfectly and stuff like that. It's
move
like,
from the yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, ultimately, like you should do that way, but yeah, the realistic of the real world is you're just getting stuff
got to
done
get
as
the
quick as
job done.
possible. Yeah.
Get it done.
Yeah.
The body's the I think the body is less fragile than we've made it seem over the last
Mm.
like 10, 20 years. I think now we're getting not everyone, but I think a lot of people are maybe they maybe view the body as just being more fragile than it actually is.
Mm.
Like if
Mhm.
your spine starts rounding in your workout a little bit, it's like, oh man, watch out, you're gonna blow out a disc. And yes, it's like if
Yeah.
you lift too heavy and like you're doing something silly, like yes. But like oftentimes it's like just it's gonna be okay,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And I think also, we hyper focus on negative things. The same thing with like news or anything else. So the one time something bad happens, everyone's like, "Oh my goodness!" But look at how many percentage times that same exact rounding happened or whatever, and it didn't happen. So like crazy stuff happens all the time. You can't plan for those things. Um,
Do
but
you know who Mike O'Hearn is?
yes, I've seen his
Yeah.
stuff.
He's
Yeah.
like like that guy's physique is insane. I actually
Mhm.
really liked him when I was younger because like a lot of the controversy around him is that he claims that he's a natural lifter. He always has. He's never yeah, see right? Yeah, exactly. I actually, I believed him when I was younger. I was like, because I want to look like him.
Yeah.
Seriously, like when I was like early 20, I was like, I want to look like him. He's natural. It's possible. That's what I'm shooting for. The guy gets a lot of hate, and I don't know that much about him, but I actually there's some things that I actually really like about him and the way that he
Mhm.
trains. Some of it's kind of funny, um, but with him, his way of training is kind of interesting. The way that he articulates the way he's moving, his technique is really, really good. Like it is insane, and he is incredibly strong. So you got to give the guy credit
Yeah,
on
he's
that.
obviously doing something. Yeah.
Something's working, whatever it is.
Mhm.
But his way of articulating how he trains is really interesting. Like when he's doing tricep extensions, he's not talking about like the specific he's he's not talking about like really working the tricep muscle. You know what he's talking about? He's talking about working the elbow joint. He's like, "Yeah, what I'm
Oh,
trying to do here is I'm trying to build strong elbows, like doing skull
mm,
crushers." It's just an interesting way
way of
of
looking at things.
articulating it, right? It's
Yeah.
like technically those joints and the connective tissue is getting stronger. Like it happens
Mhm.
slowly over time. But most people are focusing on like building, like I'm trying to
That's right.
hit the
Yeah.
muscle belly. But the way he articulates it is I'm trying to build my elbows here, which is just it's really interesting. Um, but
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I think speaking of like people on steroids or not, I think I told you it was like eye opening to me the other day. Like I told you I was at the powerlifting thing and the guy told me he had taken some. And it's like it's interesting. 'Cause I see him in the gym now, dap it up with him and stuff. Um, he's got a good physique and he's strong, but it's not like not obtainable. You know what I mean? Like I could attain it, I think. You know what I mean? But like it was just eye opening for me. I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's more prevalent than I think, and who knows? And maybe it doesn't necessarily make you like this monster that we see on the shows. You know what I mean? Like it's
that's usually the case. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean. And then you get surprised when I'm sure you've seen like the whole people asking people if they're natural or not, and then some people will say, oh yeah, I'm taking something, and they're like a scrawny guy. It's kind of like, oh,
Yeah. It's like
really?
it's
Like,
working the way that you'd hoped it.
yeah,
Go for it. Yeah,
yeah,
it
it's
is.
kind of crazy.
That's my understanding is it's like it's actually they're quite common, but most people that are taking it they don't look super impressive. Maybe they
Yeah.
look like a little bit better than an average Joe. But you also look at like the kind of I mean, I won't shoot I don't want to like make an overgeneralization, but a lot of the people that do decide to take it are people
Hmm.
that like want to take a shortcut. So they're not training very well,
Yeah.
or they're like kind of inconsistent with their training, or their diet is really poor. And that's still going to be reflective on their physiques. That
Yeah.
thus they look only
Yeah.
like a little bit better than an average Joe and like they
Yeah.
still look like they have too much body fat or they have excess body fat or like you can just see like the negative stuff like
Mhm.
sometimes someone looks like a little bit bigger than the rest of the population but like they've got really bad acne or their skin look just like
Mhm.
looks really unhealthy
Yeah.
or like
Everything
I guess
has a
like
price.
color like yeah it's
Yeah.
trade-offs yeah
Yeah. There's no
but
skipping. There's no skipping the journey. Same thing with like the Ozempic and all of those stuff. Like there's gonna be downfalls of that. But
yeah there's always trade-offs
yeah, yeah, and it's not
always.
worth it. I don't think. My personal opinion.
I don't either. We should talk about Ozempic in a future one.
Yes, yes. I have some people that a coworker of mine basically speculating that another coworker has used it. I was like, "Oh, interesting." And I kind of said, "Oh yeah, me and my buddy Sam have talked about this, and about really the other skills you learn by getting it along the way. Like you miss out on all that." So yeah, we could definitely do a deep dive into that. I don't know what it is, if it's Ozempic or not. But what's the thing where they do that surgery where like your stomach gets smaller and you can't actually eat? What is
Oh,
it? I
shoot, what's
like
it called again? Gastral bypass?
yes, yes.
Gastric
I,
bypass?
I knew someone that had that and like they lost a lot of weight, but it's kind of like weird, interesting, different. Like so yeah, you're not doing any post marathon binges with those or post show binges.
You can't.
Um yeah.
You can't.
But no, I think it was good, man. Yeah. I think that so when this airs, it'll be after the marathon.
It
So
will.
hopefully people should follow me on Instagram. So I will do
Yep.
a update like I did last year. I'm gonna try to do a better one. Last year I literally like got back to my car after running and it takes like an hour to get back to your car. And I was like, okay, guys, like marathon done. Thanks. Like I should probably do a better job like taking pictures of things and like,
You're
putting
probably just
that
like
like,
exhausted, like ready to go
yeah.
eat something.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I'm gonna drive back home that night. I think I just don't really want to, but I'll go to my sister's, hang out for a couple hours, and then drive the 5 hours home, like which is miserable. Because I would rather be like in my bed Sunday night and sleep in Saturday or Monday morning than like get up early, drive,
And
and
then
then have
have
to
to
be
have
at
a
work on
travel
Tuesday.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Um, and then And then, so yeah, we could talk about that next week. We'll talk about how I did and how I crushed my goals.
Yep.
And then it's on to my next goal.
On to the next one.
Crazy. So
it's gonna be good.
Yes, excited. But no, I appreciate it, Sam, and I will let you know how I do. Yeah, and I shouldn't worry about it. Who cares?
Yeah. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
How about we do this? If I like somehow, okay, so I ran a 325 last time. My goal is 320. If I run a 305, you have to run a 10K.
No.
If you guys think that, then say that in the comments and make Sam run.
I mean, you guys can say that in the comments, but I'm not gonna do it no matter what. So I do hope that you do. I think you can do it, but I ain't doing no running.
Not running.
Nope.
That's funny.
Anyways, thank you everyone for listening. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel. It really helps us out. Wish Zach luck in the comment section below. You can leave your feedback if you want me to do a run. You can, I mean, you're welcome to leave your feedback, but I'm not going to do it no matter what. But thank you for watching nonetheless. And thank you, Zach.
Thank you.